Hi everyone, my name is Sarah and this is my channel, So Sarah Sewed. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my plans for sewing and knitting in March. Now there aren't that many plans to share with you because I will also be participating in the Sew Frugal Challenge, which is being run for the whole of March. And I have an official video out on the 18th of March. So I'll be sharing my Sew Frugal plans then, but I do have a couple of other plans I'll share with you today. Before I get into that though, I will share what I'm wearing. We've had some really warm weather here in Melbourne the last few weeks really. There's been a lot of hot weather and today was another warm day. So I have worn one of my Vali dresses by pattern Fantastique. This one is in a tencel and linen blend from Nerida Hansen that I got over a year ago. And the designer of this particular fabric is Miss Moresby. I absolutely love it. I'll put in a full length photo so you can see the whole thing, but I just love this fabric and I think it works really well in this pattern. It's a very, very comfortable dress for a warm day too. So let's get into my plans for March. The plans I'm sharing today are actually using patterns that I've made before, but they're patterns that I really, really enjoyed. So the first thing I'm going to be making is the Ora Pinafore by Soften Studio. I made one of these in the middle of last year in a navy corduroy and I absolutely love it. I love it more than I even expected to, and it just got so much wear. Very, very easy to wear. It's a deep plunging V pinafore, but a very long length one. And I absolutely love it. So I have decided to make another one, but this time in a slightly less heavy fabric. So as I mentioned, the first one was in a corduroy and it's quite a heavy dress because it is so long. And this time I have bought a hemp twill or tweed. I can never remember which one, but I will show you. I actually bought this fabric last September and I think I cut out the pattern either in October or November, but then the weather got warm and I wasn't motivated to make it anymore. Now the weather is still warm, but I know that it will be changing fairly soon. And I thought I've got this dress cut out already. It should just go to the top of my list of things to sew. So here's the fabric. It looks a little bit like a wool, I suppose, but yeah, it's a bit lighter and I'm hoping it's a really comfortable one. So I've actually, yeah, as I said, I've cut all the pieces already. So that is a facing. This dress is lined with a facing around the bodice and then also at the hem. There aren't very many seams in this pattern. So there is a center seam that runs through the front piece, a center seam that runs through the back, and then it's connected at the sides with the facings. So it should be quite a quick sew and I'm hoping to get that one done very soon. This was a pattern that was discontinued by Soften Studio, but then she re-released it. And when she initially re-released it, it was just going to be for a limited time, but I believe it never ended up being removed from sale. So the pattern is available through Soften Studio. One negative about this pattern is that it doesn't come in a very large size range. However, it is quite roomy. I actually probably could size down in the one that I made from last time, but I ended up cutting out this new one in the exact same size. So hopefully it's okay. Hopefully because it's a little lighter, it won't feel as much like the shoulders are going to slip off. If they do, I think I'll have to make, the next time I make this pattern, I will definitely size down. The only place that this pinafore is kind of close fitting would be around the bust. So that's probably the main measurement that you would need to check for to see if you would fit into the size range. And it just goes over the head. There's no closures or anything. It's very large opening because the V is so low at the front. My favorite top to wear with last year's Ora Pinafore was a turtleneck top. So because you've got such a plunging V neckline, having a high top actually balances out really well. This is a top actually I made a few years ago. It was a Freya top by Tilly and the Buttons, and I don't really like the look of it on me by itself. I feel like it's because it's so high, it just creates a shape that I don't really like on my body. But when I wear it with this low V, I really like the proportions it creates. So I'm going to make another one of those. This time, however, I'm going to, rather than making the neck piece, neckband, the height that it is in the pattern, I'm going to lower it because I find that I always am tucking it under for the height that I want. So it goes quite high and I prefer it around here. And I've got a fabric that I bought from Dupes Designs last year. I put this order in as part of the pre-orders, which I think were in about August last year, but then I didn't receive the fabric until a few months later. And then by that stage, I was kind of over wanting to wear sort of high neck things, so I haven't made them yet. So the first fabric I thought I would use for this is this one. I think this will make a really, really fun little top. So yeah, I'll be making it full length sleeves and then the high neckline, the Freya top by Tilly and the Buttons, because it's a pattern that I have. And that one is in, I think it's the Stretch Book by Tilly and the Buttons. The pattern I remember finding very easy to follow and a nice simple sew. So I'm looking forward to making that one again and using this really fun fabric. I know that this one will go really nicely with the Ora Pinafore that I already have, as well as my new one. And then of course, when I did my pre-order for that fabric, I thought, well, I'm going to be spending the shipping, I should buy a second fabric as well. So that first fabric I bought 1.5 meters of, which will be plenty for the Freya top. The other one I only got 1 meter of. So I'm considering just making a t-shirt in this one. So I love this really bold floral design. It's on a navy blue, I think. It's a bit hard to tell. It could even be a black. It's a very, very dark blue or a black. So that one I'm considering maybe a t-shirt. Otherwise I might try and squeeze out another Freya out of that, because I do know, yeah, I love wearing it with the Aura. So still deciding on that one. If I was to make a t-shirt, I might make the Jackson tee by Helen's Closet. I made a Jackson pullover in February, which I'll share in a video soon. And I thought, well, seeing though I bought that pattern and it also comes with a t-shirt pattern, I should give that a go and see if that becomes my new t-shirt of choice. So they are my sewing plans for March, apart from my Sew Frugal plans, which I am still thinking about and I am looking forward to sharing with you in my video on the 18th of March. But I do have some knitting projects that I'm working on and also planning to be working on this month as well, so I'll share those now. So the first one is a project I've been working on since the very end of December last year. It's a Stephen West pattern and it is the Glittering Snowscape Shawl, which was his Hyber Knitalong for 2023. So the idea of the Hyber Knitalong is that everyone casts on Boxing Day and is knitting the same pattern together throughout however many weeks it takes you. So for me, I cast on the 30th of December and I'm still going. So I got a lot of knitting done in January when I was on school holidays. But since going back to work, I have not had as much time obviously to knit, but I am trying to do a little bit each day. So I am on the home stretch of this pattern now. I am up to the border and I'm over halfway through the border. So the border is consisting of 51, I think, little striped wedges or little striped sections. I'll show it, it'll be more easy to explain. Here's what I meant about the little stripes that are in the borders. There are, I think, about 51 of those that I need to knit, and I've made, I think, around 30, and I'm averaging 1 stripe a day, probably at the moment, sometimes 2, maybe on the weekends. So it's slow going, but I do have a long weekend coming up this weekend, so I might get a few more done then. And even if I were only to make 1 stripe a day, I should get that done, the rest of it in 3 weeks if I was to keep up that slow pace. So, yeah, looking forward to having that one done. I've absolutely loved this project. It was so fun. Every section has been different and interesting, and I'm absolutely loving these colors. So these colors were a kit put together by Skein yarn. My mum chose them for me for my Christmas present last year, and they're so beautiful. I actually thought this brown when I saw it, because it's kind of, it started off silver, and then it turned in, sort of added some blues, sort of greens, and then darker grays and things, and then this brown. And I was actually thinking, I couldn't really see that working. But now that I've been working with it, I think it's perfect. And I think, yeah, I couldn't be happier with that color actually. So because I've been enjoying knitting that shawl so much, and because I've loved working with that wool so much, I've decided I'm going to participate in another mystery knit along, which is starting on the 21st of March. So I'm hoping to be finished that one by then. That's the goal, is to finish by the 21st of March. Because I haven't looked actually, but I'm assuming that the needles might be around the same size, or at least the cable probably will be. So I'd like to get my needles off that cable and ready for the next project. So the name of the knit along that I'm doing is the 24 Birds Mystery Knit Along by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. And I'll just quickly read you the inspiration behind the design. She says it's a mystery shawl inspired by the iconic prints and tapestries of the arts and crafts movement. So yes, I'm very excited. Now, Kristen from Skein Yarn put some kits together for this one as well. You could pre-order them. And I have chosen what I think is just such a beautiful color way. And so she chose a tapestry or an artwork and then drew colors out from that as her inspiration for this kit. And she's actually told me she's using the exact same colors. So I'm really excited to start this one and excited to share as I begin that in a few weeks' time. So this mystery knit along is going to run for 6 weeks, starting on the 21st of March. It's quite good timing for me because I'll break up for school holidays 1 week into the knit along. So that will give me time to catch up on that first week if I'm already behind, and ensure that I'm sort of on track for those first 3 weeks of the knit along. So looking forward to it. I've also encouraged one of my colleagues at work who shares an office with me and a rehearsal room a lot of the week to knit the same pattern. She's chosen a different kit from Skein Yarn, and we're actually doing rehearsals in some of the holidays as well, and I'm looking forward to be knitting along with her in our lunch breaks and things like that, and seeing how she's going and how hers is looking with her different colorway to mine. So I'll try and share some of the pictures of that too. I think I have plenty to keep me going during March, especially with the So Frugal challenge as well, which I'm really looking forward to. Do have a look out for the So Frugal 24 videos, because there are 2 vloggers every day at least putting videos out for that. So if you're interested in getting involved in that challenge, have a look at that, and I will look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye bye.